This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Remembering John Hamm, the small-town doctor who served as Nova Scotia's 25th premier, has died. Haddock hike. A spike in cost is forcing restaurants to increase their fish and chips prices. And flying high, the Atlantic Kite Festival takes flight over Halifax.
Summer-like weather, but not too humid today. There's a look at our daytime high temperatures. How long will this warm weather be sticking around? If you've got any plans for your Tuesday, I'll have your full forecast just ahead.
Good evening. Nova Scotia is mourning the loss of former Premier John Hamm, a leader who brought the reassuring hand of a small-town family doctor to the province's highest office. He famously steered the province through pivotal economic and political changes. He was 88. Here's a look back at his life, legacy, and lasting impact. Winning 2 general elections, a lot of Nova Scotians certainly thought the doctor knew best. Straight-laced and soft-spoken, family physician John Hamm often leaned on his traditional values. He opposed Sunday shopping because he felt it was a day for families to be together. And ordered the removal of about 1,000 video lottery terminals from bars and taverns aimed at curbing gambling addiction. In 1999, he ran on a campaign promise to open more hospital beds and close the heavily subsidized Sydney Steel. Once in office, the plant was shuttered for good, ending nearly a century of steelmaking in Cape Breton. While healthcare was a major plank in his campaign, his government had some tense clashes with the sector.
We're not going to stop until you show us some respect.
He tried to take away the right to strike for approximately 9,000 nurses and other healthcare workers.
Bill 68! Take Bill 68, put it in the garbage can, and you go home and get some rest.
We're out here on a political limb with a piece of legislation that in many corners is not very popular, but is defending the right of Nova Scotians to get good health care.
Threats of mass resignations followed, and in the end, the province pulled back on the legislation. One of his biggest accomplishments came after a battle with Ottawa over offshore oil and gas revenues.
The check has arrived.
The 2005 Atlantic Accord allowed Nova Scotia to keep 100% of offshore resource revenues without a government clawback in transfer payments. At that time, Hamm said every penny would be used to pay down the province's then debt of $12 billion. A big part of Hamm's push to have Nova Scotia living within its means, bringing in balanced budgets after years of big spending.
Nothing is worth running a deficit for.
A true fiscal conservative who never veered from his prescription for his vision of a healthier province. Amy Smith, CBC News, Halifax. In a statement, Premier Tim Houston says, "I was deeply saddened to learn of the passing of former Premier John Hamm. Dr. Hamm, as he was known for decades, made an indelible mark on the lives of thousands of Nova Scotians. First, as a compassionate family physician in Pictou County, and later as the Premier who made big changes to set our province on a better path. I will remember Premier Hamm for his strength, his quiet dignity, and for his determination to improve the lives of the people he served." 2 youth are dead and another seriously injured after the SUV they were in struck a tree on the South Shore. RCMP say the single vehicle crash happened on Highway 324 in Lilydale Saturday morning when a Ford Bronco traveling southeast left the roadway. The youth driver and a youth passenger were pronounced dead at the scene. A third occupant, another youth, was transported to hospital with life-threatening injuries. An Ontario woman who's donating her kidney to her sister in Nova Scotia tomorrow says the experience will cost her several $1,000s. That's because Nova Scotia will not cover the expenses of a companion traveling with her to support her recovery. She thinks the financial burden is a deterrent from promoting more live donations. Carolyn Ray has that story.
When Amanda Acker decided to donate a kidney to her older sister, she knew it would be an emotional process, but worth it. What she didn't expect was the financial toll.
Your ability to save a life should not depend on your ability to absorb the cost.
A few weeks ago, Acker says she was blindsided to learn that Nova Scotia won't cover her partner's expenses to be by her side when she has the surgery. They live in Ottawa and have to travel to Halifax. After she donates her kidney, she can't lift anything and will need support to get meals. While anonymous donors have the ability to have the surgery at home, Acker says she was told she had to physically be in Nova Scotia. The province's health authority says there are only about 2 cases involving donors from another province a year. Speaking virtually at a cabinet meeting last week, the province's health minister said there are no plans to change the policy.
We look across the country and we see that there are, different approaches in different provinces, but this is certainly what we're able to do at the moment.
The idea that the money isn't there is clearly not the case, because they're going to spend it on dialysis costs, right? And they're going to save it by doing these transplants.
I just think that they would get a lot more people wanting to come forward and help out and donate if it wasn't such a financial thing.
Laura Fowler is joining Acker's call for change. In January, she traveled from Kingston, Nova Scotia to Quebec City to give her best friend a kidney without a dedicated support person. Quebec, like Nova Scotia, does not cover travel for a companion for live donations.
It's emotionally draining after the first moment when you've given the kidney, because you think you can just get up and start doing things. Well, you can't.
Acker knew she was facing some expenses with this donation, especially because she has to reduce her work for the next few weeks. But she wasn't expecting to pay $3,000 to bring her partner here. It's peak travel season, and she says the bills are adding up. She's calling on provinces to fix this gap. She believes with more funding, it will encourage more live donations in the future. Carolyn Ray, CBC News, Halifax.
A big rise in haddock prices is forcing restaurants to pass that cost on to its customers. Fishing restrictions from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans have reduced haddock supply across the Maritimes and driven up the cost for the historically affordable fish. The CBC's Jenna Olson has the story.
Table 10.
Customers looking for a plate of fish and chips can expect to pay more in Nova Scotia this summer. Here at the Pleasant Street Diner in Dartmouth, where they serve 1,000 pounds of fresh haddock per week, their supplier recently raised prices by 40%. And overnight, weekly expenses surged by $5,000.
If our number one seller is fish, and we're paying $5 more a pound for the fish, I'm just going to go under, and I got a family to take care of.
With no other options, co-owner Stephen Fatouras had to increase menu prices by 10%. Passing the cost on to customers.
Everything is delicious here, so a little increase is okay for the haddock.
Oh, it didn't make any difference to us, even if it goes up, because they have such huge quantities.
In April, the Department of Fisheries and Oceans cut haddock fishing quotas in parts of the Atlantic by 57%, blaming a record decline in stock. These restrictions drove up the price of haddock and forced several Nova Scotia restaurants, including Fatouras' Diner, to announce increases.
If we didn't raise our prices, we'd have to take fish and chips off the menu.
Restaurant supply costs have surged across the board since the COVID-19 pandemic, and many restaurants are now reaching a breaking point. According to the Restaurant Association of Nova Scotia, 36% of restaurants are operating at a loss or just breaking even, 3 times the number in 2019. The association's executive director expects more price hikes.
So if they're planning on still carrying fresh haddock on their menu, they're looking at those increases and having to make those really tough decisions.
Fatouras worried that the price increase would push customers away.
What can you do? We're trying our best here, and our customers have stood by us from the beginning, and hopefully they'll stick by us. But there's a point where you can't squeeze people that much.
But since customers already see rising costs on their grocery bills, Chestnut doesn't expect restaurants will face pushback.
For the consumer, what's really important is that they're still getting quality and that they're still getting service.
When CBC News spoke with owners of Pleasant Street Diner 2 days after the price hike, they said the restaurant was busier than usual, packed with regulars eager to support the local favorite through tough times. Jenna Olson, CBC News, Halifax.
And we've got Jay Scotland in for Ryan today. So a beautiful start to the work week.
Yeah, I mean, that's because 100% the meteorological cause for this nice weather is Ryan starting vacation.
Yeah.
So I just want folks to be aware why that is. But no, it's very sunny across the province today. Temperatures are very, very warm, but humidex values, it's not adding any, well, uncomfortable feeling to the temperatures right now. We're seeing humidex values high 20s to low 30s for most areas. So got the summer heat, but not too much in terms of humidity. Although we could see some unsettled conditions, a bit more humidity in the forecast as we look ahead to the latter part of tomorrow. Now, as for the next 24 hours, we will gradually see clouds increasing this evening and overnight as we move into the early morning hours tomorrow. So this will be the pre-dawn hours, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. For most areas, we do see that chance of showers building in. These will be off and on showers, shouldn't last too long, clearing out to a decently sunny afternoon. Temperatures will be into inland areas, even into the high 20s, feeling low 30s, but that humidity late in the day could result in not just some wet weather, but for more northern parts of the province. You want to keep an ear to the sky, even a rumble of thunder possible as we look to Tuesday night.
All right, thanks for that, Jay. We'll talk soon. The longest-running country jamboree in Canada turned 60 this past weekend. The 9 Mile River Community Hall filled with musicians jamming and people looking for a good time. The CBC's Juliana Grill was there.
The 9 Mile River Jamboree is marking 6 decades of country music. Some call it the longest-running jamboree in Canada. The festival is living history for the community of 9 Mile River. The long-running MC has seen it evolve over the decades. But even when times change, this jamboree is always there.
It's still going, it's still thriving. It's thriving as good as it was years and years ago, and it's getting lots of people a chance to showcase their talent.
It all started in 1966, people playing guitars at a stock car track. It later moved to this community hall in East Hants, bringing musicians from all over the province. This year's jamboree brought together families and old friends, covers of familiar songs, but also original ones, veteran artists, and emerging talent too. This musician first played here when he was only 12 years old. Now, he's 19.
It's just a sense of community. I find it's a very welcoming area, and I've played a lot of jamborees, and there's not too many like this one that sticks around, and they always have the same people come back. It's always just a place where musicians can get together, and either you've seen a musician 100 times or you've just seen them for the first time when you're here. So.
Amongst guitars, drums and bass, Hall Bruce rocked the stage. He has toured the world, but something keeps bringing him back to 9 Mile River.
As soon as you walk in the door and people come in and they all come up and say hello, it's like old home. So I got to know a lot of people, not by name necessarily. I don't forget too many faces.
Like any birthday, guests were giving free cake, and they left the venue hoping the jamboree runs for another 60 years. Juliana Grillo, CBC News, 9 Mile River.
Well, with perfect weather over the weekend, hundreds gathered at Citadel Hill as the Atlantic Kite Festival soared over Halifax. The free, family-friendly festival has been a popular event in Halifax for several years. Thousands of colorful kites of all shapes and sizes filled the sky, from classic designs to your favorite cartoon characters. Some kites are homemade, others are a little more extravagant.
Oh, it's great. The weather's great, the wind's great, the atmosphere's great. It's a really positive experience.
Definitely get some high ground. The lower you are, the harder it's going to get those good winds.
We have some friends. It's great to be sharing some kites on a day like today.
The two-day festival also featured local vendors, food trucks, bouncy castles, and music. That's a beautiful spot in Mahone Bay. Jay will be up next with the forecast. We'll see you in just a few minutes. And Jay is back with his full weather forecast. So we were talking about how nice and warm and sunny it's been. Is that going to stick around for the rest of the week?
Yeah, at least for another day or so. We do see some cooler temperatures in the long-range outlook. Not so cool that it's anything to get too worked up about, but we have plenty of summer left either way, but certainly going to be a nice one tomorrow. I mean, today, coastal areas, you can see as we look to Backrow Point, just 16 degrees. There's a bit of a range if that wind is coming in off the water, but most areas were well into the mid-20s to high 20s. Saw a spot or two, including Greenwood, which was the hot spot today across the province at 30 degrees. And factoring in the humidex, it only fell high 20s to low 30s for most areas, which is warm enough if you can get to the water, get your outdoor activities going, but not oppressive humidity by any stretch. A little on the breezy side today, though, too. Not much to show you on the satellite and the radar picture over the last few hours. We do see a chance of showers developing. Some areas could see them through the overnight hours tonight. I think most of the province, it'll be into the early morning hours tomorrow. Not looking to be too heavy in terms of that rain potential. We will see a few clouds developing this evening ahead of a partly cloudy sky overnight. There's that shower chance kind of developing South Shore overnight, working its way east into the morning hours to the Halifax area, up to the hub into Truro. You can see some scattered showers further east through Cape Breton. That does diminish, and we'll see a mix of sun and cloud developing into the middle part of the day. So not too bad through the afternoon. As we get into the evening hours, though, we'll see that chance of showers starting to develop again, and then very late into the evening, you do see, certainly for more northern areas and western parts of the province, that risk of thunderstorms developing. So that'll be through Kentville, up through the Amherst area, east through Caribou. You'll see that chance really Tuesday night of some thunderstorms moving out of New Brunswick, possibly tracking east into the Cape Breton area through the overnight hours through early Wednesday. And then we'll just see a chance of convective showers that, again, may come with a rumble of thunder on Wednesday, but these will be more sporadic pop-up showers and thunderstorms as we look to your Wednesday, as we still will have some humid and muggy air in place. Not overly oppressive by any stretch, but enough there that a chance of a pop-up shower means you'll have to keep an ear to the sky and maybe head indoors at the first sound of a rumble. As we look through the overnight hours tonight, aside from that risk of some showers building in shortly after midnight, maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning through the Yarmouth area, that wet weather should hold off until the early morning hours, pre-dawn through Bridgewater, and then early to mid-morning into the HRM as those showers do track to the east. These will be fairly scattered in nature, so I'm not expecting everyone to necessarily see wet weather through the overnight hours into the early morning hours tomorrow. Sky will be clearing for most areas into the afternoon. Decently sunny conditions through the middle of the day. Temperatures anywhere from the low to mid-20s for coastal areas up to as warm as 30 as we look into parts of the valley, up into Kentville as well. And you'll see humidex values into the mid-30s for a few areas, but generally high 20s to low 30s tomorrow. And then you do see that chance of wet weather building in again as we work into the evening hours. You'll see a chance of showers, maybe those morning showers in Halifax, lingering into the early to mid-afternoon for more eastern areas. But again, it'll be late in the day where we have those heavier, more moderate pockets of isolated showers and thunderstorms that we'll have to pay attention to into the evening hours on your Tuesday night. So temperatures tomorrow, generally mid to high 20s. We do see a spot or two potentially topping 30 degrees, and then we'll watch for humidex values to add 3 or 4 degrees to those actual temperatures. With that humidity, Tuesday night through early Wednesday, there will be a chance of some unsettled conditions. Otherwise, showers with isolated thunder showers possible. Still very warm and still quite humid as we look to your Wednesday. We'll see a mix of sun and cloud on Thursday. I do see the potential for more wet weather on Thursday, but much later in the day. Temperatures still quite warm, and we'll still see some humidity in place for your Thursday. And then as we take a look at that long-range outlook into the weekend, this is where those temperatures do unfortunately drop off a bit. But it's really not that bad. If we see temperatures low to mid-20s with a decent amount of sunshine on Saturday, I think that's a pretty nice Saturday forecast. We'll see those cooler temperatures overnight through the early morning hours into Sunday. Good chance of some wet weather arriving Sunday afternoon. Could see some heavier pockets of rain then, and that rain could be lingering Sunday night into Monday as well. And these temperatures, once we get through Thursday, are looking to stay just below that seasonal average for daytime highs. But we're getting nice relief through the overnight hours, so hopefully you can give your power bill a bit of a break, open a window, shut off the AC or the heat pump, and let things cool down. But until we get to the weekend, certainly looking at some warm and still very summer-like weather for much of this week.
All right, thanks for that, Jay. And we're back after this. Yarmouth's mayor is calling for an end to online harassment of politicians. She made a post on social media saying that kind of behavior has to stop. And we're joined now by Mayor Pam Mood. So tell us a bit about the post and what made you decide to write it.
I think, first of all, this is all coming from an innocent place. I just decided, one day after 14 years, I didn't sign up for the abuse and the harassment. So I kind of put a funny post up that said, the block button is my new best friend. None of us has to do that. And it's not just about politics. It's about everybody in the world not having to put up with online abuse and harassment. There are ways around it. So just, the ugly after a while gets too ugly. It takes up too much time, too much headspace, the whole mental health piece, everything. So enough. I just block it.
Well, what kind of abuse are you hearing?
Well, lots of it. It's okay that folks, and I want this to be clear, there's nothing wrong with a difference of opinion, but you don't have to call me a fat, ugly C word or some of the other things that I've been called, which I don't even want to spell out, to get your point across. Why are we doing that? My children read that, my family reads that, so why would any human being put up with that? The threats I'm used to, but it doesn't mean they're right. So I also want to be clear that this is not about me. I can handle myself. I've done it for a long time. But what I'm hearing now more and more, and far too often, is that, we have some wonderful young leaders that are up and coming and interested in serving their community. And what I'm getting is I would never step into this if I would have to go through what you're going through. And that throws me into a panic because there's too many good people out there to have to put up with this.
Well, from your experience, though, people are actually threatening you with violence?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Yeah, that's... I left my house twice under police watch with my family. We're going to burn your house down with you in it, which is okay. I don't want to say it's okay for me, but I have grandchildren. Like, who says something like that, much less does something like that? All you have to do is can you sneak up behind her and just snap her neck? She won't see it coming. Just ridiculous. And I'm not afraid to say it's just ridiculous things that people say, but it's 2026. And, yes, I've reported these things because you don't know what somebody's going to do. So yeah, things like that happen all the time. And not just me. I get a lot of calls from other elected officials that it's just getting to be too much to have to put up with it when you have families and a life of your own, that people think you're not human when we are.
Well, what has been the reaction since your post?
I have online on my feed was, I would say, 99% positive. Yeah, no, you shouldn't have to put up with this. And what's wrong with people? And why do they think it's okay to hide behind their keyboard and, things like that? But if somebody else posts it, so, if CBC puts up a post that says, this is what's going on, it's 99% negative. The ugly cow needs to get a life. She needs to, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Well, trust me, I can handle the heat. I shouldn't have to. I think that's the point. Mm-hmm. You don't treat people like that. You don't say things like that and think it's okay, because it's not.
Now, have you challenged some of these people who write these messages?
Yeah, I have. I don't shy away from confrontation. I think everybody knows. I have messaged a couple people and just said, like, what, is there something you want to talk about? What's the issue? Come on in, have a coffee. I'll do that. I'll make you a cup of coffee. Let's sit down and have a chat about whatever it is that is really burning you enough to threaten somebody or call somebody names publicly. It doesn't embarrass me. It should be an embarrassment for the person that posts it, and that's what I'm finding. So there's never a response because it's online, and it's, I can say what I want and how I want. So, I just, something has to give. And I think if enough people start talking about it, somebody has to lead the way. And I'm willing to do that.
Well, what do you think needs to change?
I think a couple of things. The fluffy side, which people would laugh at and give, oh, she's trying to control online and what is said. That's not it at all. I don't care what you say online. Just say it in a half respectful manner. Stop acting like it. Anyway, I think maybe some legislation with teeth, which I've been challenged with. The RCMP are there. Well, okay, but you have to give them a little bit of legislation. I think there is some federally. Second, I would say this is a tough one, but the bystanders. I used to do, actually, I won a national award for my work with bullying in schools and in workplaces. And the bystander has an awful lot of power. So when you don't react to it, when you don't speak up and say this is wrong, it just gives them, more power. And I think that the social media organizations need to take some control. And I'll tell you why that is. I'm an adult and I think I'm a pretty tough cookie. I don't like it, but nobody would. But our kids and teens and mental health and, all those things, because it's not just about me, it's about the online behavior of folks that are pushing people to the edge. And it just, something needs to give. So the organizations on social media maybe need to, take some responsibility. I don't know what that looks like.
All right. Well, Mayor Mood, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
Coming up, a shooting at a popular Latin street festival in Toronto leaves 2 people dead and several others injured. And officials in France say a large wildfire raging in forests south of Paris may have been deliberately set. Welcome back. 2 people were killed and 4 seriously injured when shots rang out at a street festival in Toronto on Saturday night. Police say about 13,000 people were in attendance.
The fact that individuals who use guns in a crowded public setting with no regard whatsoever for the safety of those around them is alarming.
The chief says there should be harsher penalties for gun use in public settings. So far, police have not named any or arrested any suspects, but they say the victims were targeted, naming them as Cesar Vernaza and Shaquan Kwashi, both in their 20s. The shooting forced organizers to cancel the second day of the festival. Mayor Olivia Chow says Toronto will not let, quote, reckless criminals stop the city from holding outdoor street festivals. The RCMP has arrested a former member of Parliament and former mayor of Dauphin, Manitoba. Inky Mark is charged with a dozen weapons-related offenses. The Mounties seized 439 firearms from his home in the city, which is 330 kilometers northwest of Winnipeg. They also seized an antique cannon, ammunition, and $300,000 in cash. Police say at least 3 of the firearms had been illegally trafficked. Mark is also charged with possession of a firearm with a tampered serial number and unsafe firearm storage. The RCMP says a motive is unclear, but notes he collects firearms. Mark was in Parliament for 13 years, from 1997 to 2010, originally with the Reform Party. A Quebec judge has found Peter Nygaard guilty of sexual assault and forcible confinement. The former fashion mogul pleaded no contest in court on Monday. The charges were laid against him 4 years ago and were connected to incidents that happened in Montreal in the 1990s. Prosecutors say he lured a teen to his penthouse where he locked her in a bathroom and sexually assaulted her. Sentencing has been delayed until the 84-year-old undergoes a medical assessment. The Quebec case is separate from his conviction in Ontario. In 2023, he was found guilty on 4 counts of sexual assault and later sentenced to 11 years in prison. That decision was upheld by the Ontario Appeals Court this year. Donald Trump says the U.S. is reinstating its blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. In April, U.S. warships intercepted and turned back vessels traveling to or from the coast of Iran. The blockade ended when the 2 countries signed a ceasefire last month. But Trump says that ceasefire is now over. Katie Nicholson reports.
After a weekend of renewed strikes, tensions between the U.S. and Iran have given way to new threats from the U.S. president. Donald Trump today telling Fox News the U.S. would take over the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, we're taking over the strait. They have nothing.
And posting on social media, the USA will be from this point forward known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. But as such, and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo. Iran's foreign minister posted this in response on X. POTUS is absolutely right. Whoever provides secure and safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz should be compensated for this service. Iran has always been the guardian of the strait and will remain so forever. 20% is, of course, too much. We will be fair. It was also met with some incredulity by some in Congress.
The president is just not living in reality when he says that we're going to somehow take over the strait like we take over the Erie Canal or something. We're not going to have that level of control. So the president's not dealing in reality, which is a major, major problem here. We're not going to be able to control it.
Trump also announced he was bringing back the U.S. military blockade of Iranian ports that is set to begin again at 3 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. It comes after a fresh wave of attacks, Iran targeting U.S. allies in the Gulf region, while the U.S. has concentrated on taking out facilities that could attack commercial shipping, like in this video of a Marine drone strike on a maritime maintenance facility. There are fears this latest escalation could boil over across the region, and it has already again slowed traffic through the strait and bumped up oil prices. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
A huge fire ripped through a bar in Bangkok on Sunday, killing at least 28 people and seriously injuring 25. And a warning, some of the images we're about to show you are distressing. The The fire started near the stage and spread quickly. It cut power and filled the room with smoke. Panicked patrons ran from the bar, some with their clothing in flames. First responders found most of the victims in a bathroom where they're believed to have been seeking shelter. Authorities are still investigating, but they suspect an electrical short circuit may have caused the fire. For the second day in a row, firefighters in France have been trying to contain a large wildfire raging in forests south of Paris. A French government official says this may be a case of arson. It's the first time water bombers have had to battle flames so far north in the country. Ross Cullen reports.
Well, extraordinary pictures coming out of the forest of Fontainebleau area of France on Monday, with the continuation of the enormous blaze there, the height that the plumes of smoke are reaching, the scale of the fire, but also the sight of Canadair firefighting planes dropping to the River Seine to pick up water to drop on the forest fire. Normally we see these planes dropping to lakes and the sea in the south of France to combat the blazes which are common in that part of the country at this time of year. Very strange to see those planes this far north. The fire is in the Fontainebleau forest, a very popular hiking, rock climbing and bouldering area, a former royal hunting ground. There is a very famous chateau on the edge of the forest as well. Some local residents have been moved to safety, and trains also passing through that area are subject to delays because of the impact of the fire. Ross Cullen for CBC News, Paris.
Heat is blanketing much of central Canada, affecting millions of people. Heat warnings are in place, stretching from Saskatchewan through southern Manitoba to Ontario and Quebec. Environment Canada says that in some places, humidex values made it feel like 45 degrees. Temperatures are expected to peak Tuesday, but will remain high for much of the week. Well, Canada's biggest airport is warning people to beware of fake news about its operations. Toronto Pearson International says online articles generated by AI are publishing inaccurate data about flight delays and cancellations. Ali Chiasson reports.
The headlines read, "Airport chaos at Pearson, Canada air traffic gridlock," when in reality, operations are operating as normal.
What these sites are doing is they're trying to generate clicks and make money off of airport operation situations that simply aren't happening.
Pearson Airport is sounding the alarm over AI bot-written articles they say are misleading the public, scraping outdated information from the internet.
What we're seeing is that some of these quote-unquote authors or writers are writing 1,200-word stories, and sometimes up to 100 of them a day. So they're clearly not being written by somebody. It's being done by AI.
But why?
There are a few different broad categories. One is absolutely people trying to get money.
We've asked this TMU technology professor about what we've learned about similar sites.
There have been journalists and others who've tracked down the people behind some of the site, and in some cases they found them, and the people are genuinely saying, "I'm just here to make Google ad revenue. I'm just trying to get any content and people to my site, and then I make money off the banner ads to the side." There are cases where there have been bot networks, and we're not really sure.
We actually heard back from 3 of the sites flagged by Pearson Airport. Quote, Travel and Tour World firmly denies the allegations that our website relies on automated AI bots to generate flight status or operational content for Toronto Pearson Airport. Toronto Digest says our editorial pipeline uses AI to draft daily posts with human review before anything publishes. TheTraveler.org says, quote, our articles are based on the information available at the time of publication and are intended to summarize ongoing events for travelers.
I've seen a lot of AI-generated content all over the place. You can never decipher what's real from fake.
It doesn't surprise me because a lot of people are not that technologically inclined.
Why make travel more stressful than it needs to be?
They have to do their own research too, right? And they've got to be careful.
The advice is, before you do anything drastic, like change your travel plans, get your information from the source. Toronto Pearson Airport has live pages on their websites where they're constantly updating flight statuses. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Mississauga.
In the face of economic uncertainty, many Canadians have been looking for ways to lower the cost of vacations. Some have found a solution in home swapping. Ina Sidhu has that story.
Canadians are getting creative to afford their next holiday. As rising costs squeeze budgets, more travelers are swapping homes instead of paying for hotels or short-term rentals.
Being a teacher, I have, a lot of freedom in the summer to travel quite far for a significant amount of time.
Calgarian Christy Moore says home exchanges are making longer trips more realistic.
I have 3 bedrooms upstairs, my primary one, but then I have 2 guest rooms.
The concept is simple. Members of online platforms pay an annual fee of a few $100s. They can then exchange directly with another homeowner or can earn credits to book another home on the platform.
If you were traveling for 2 weeks, to save a few $1,000s on accommodation might open up some other opportunities that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Tatiana Giberson is currently swapping her Calgary home with a family in Medford, Oregon. They've done this a dozen times, going as far away as France and Mexico.
It is a very appealing experience to literally just try on somebody else's life for a change. The secondary factor is obviously cost savings.
Platforms behind the trend say more Canadians are signing up. People Like Us says membership has grown about 20% over the past year.
Canada used to be our 5th largest country in the world, and now it's our 2nd largest.
Home exchange. We switch houses, cars, everything. Bingo.
Home Exchange, featured in the holidays, says 15,000 exchanges are planned in Canada this summer, up nearly 30% from last year.
Because of the rising travel costs, people are getting more comfortable with getting a little bit outside of their comfort zone.
Experts say this trend reflects a shift in how Canadians are traveling.
People are looking for what we call authentic experiences. They want to be within the communities.
But like any sharing platform, the biggest hurdle is trust. Users say reviews and video calls help build confidence before handing over the keys. Ina Sidhu, CBC News, Calgary.
New Zealand actor Sam Neill has died. He played Dr. Alan Grant in the Jurassic Park series.
It's a dinosaur.
Aside from Jurassic Park, Neill was known for his roles in The Piano, The Hunt for Red October, and Dead Calm. And he has 2 films due to be released next year. Neill had been diagnosed with cancer in 2022, but he announced he was cancer-free in April. Sam Neill was 78 years old. Stock markets in Canada and the U.S. moved lower today as oil prices jumped following a weekend of attacks in the Middle East. Here's a look at the numbers as we head to break. And Jay is back to wrap things up. So it sounds like a few showers maybe here and there, but generally pretty sunny.
Yeah, I'd say for most areas, it kind of bookending the day. So you get some early morning showers, and then again, very late in the day, the showers. And for northern areas, that risk of thunderstorms will be building in late Tuesday evening. May see a few showers lingering into the early afternoon as we look to Port Hawkesbury and east. As we will be looking at those showers kind of working from west to east through the early morning hours. They may linger into the afternoon. But today was pretty nice. We'll see temperatures quite warm again tomorrow as well. We'll actually see very summer-like weather right through Thursday. It's really Friday we start to see that cooler air beginning to build in. So through the overnight hours tonight, we see those clouds gradually increasing. Slight chance for some coastal fog patches, but that wind is pretty blustery from the south to southwest. We'll see into the morning hours. So overnight, Yarmouth area working its way into the morning hours. You see those showers working through the HRM. Very spotty or scattered in nature as we look up towards Truro, as we look east through New Glasgow. And then we'll watch for those showers to build late morning, early afternoon before clearing into more eastern areas, including Cape Breton. So not a bad one tomorrow. Decent amount of sunshine when it counts through the afternoon, but late in the day, do be mindful. Don't park with the windows down. Showers, thunderstorms possible Tuesday night. There's that morning shower chance as we take a look at your day planner for Halifax. That wind from the southwest will be picking up as well. We'll see those temperatures around low 20s into the noon hour, and then as we get into the late afternoon, we do expect coastal areas to maybe a little bit cooler, 20 to 22 degrees, but inland areas will see those temperatures up into the mid to even high 20s. And we could even see a spot or two top 30 tomorrow. Just know that it will feel high 20s to low 30s for most areas with the humidex for your Tuesday. Amy?
All right. Thanks for that, Jay. There is a new trend surging its way through farm fields in the Maritimes, using electricity to kill weeds. Experts say it's chemical-free and gets rid of seeds that could grow back next season. Nancy Russell reports.
A researcher on Prince Edward Island is looking at the potential of electricity as a way to control weeds in farm fields. This unit sends a surge from a generator at the back of the tractor through a copper pipe at the front, zapping the weeds it touches.
We'll see like little sparkles, little electric shocks going from it, and as we're passing over, within an hour we're seeing the plants wilt, and then within a week we see the plants are getting nice and crispy and dead.
McDonald controls what the electricity hits, depending on the height of the crop. She has been testing it on potatoes, beets, and rutabagas.
If you think of like a mower where you can change your mowing deck height, same with this. We're just kind of changing the height of the bar.
Experts say using electricity also works for weeds that are herbicide resistant. Zapping also has advantages over cutting down weeds.
If you just cut tall weeds that are growing above the crop, the clipped stem that lays on the ground can produce seeds.
White has also been experimenting with the technology.
Carrots, it's a very effective weed control tool in carrot production and other vegetables, potato production. It has to be used in a situation where you can hit weeds without hitting the crop plants because it's not selective. So the electricity will just as happily travel through a potato plant as it will a weed plant.
There are, however, some limitations to using electricity.
Last year, the drought definitely posed a big challenge because the weeds, they weren't growing, so they weren't taller than my crops. And also, there is a chance of this being a fire hazard if the material is too dry that we're zapping.
There's also the cost of the equipment. A medium-sized weed zapper is about $120,000.
Any farmer can do it at this point in time if they're willing to invest in the equipment. And it's really just a matter of time before we start seeing more and more of these machines being used.
This is year 2 of Nicole McDonald's project. She says she's looking forward to trying it on more crops and in more grower fields. Nancy Russell, CBC News, Harrington.
People in England showed off their aim over the weekend at the 53rd World Pea Shooting Championship.
5.
Those taking part had to stand 4 meters away from a target coated in putty and shoot 5 peas. The competition is broken into 2 categories, traditional and open. The traditional class is restricted to standard plastic pea shooters, while the open category allows participants to freely customize their shooters. And that is it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.